Jasamine Banks. What's up, everybody? Mwah.
Jasamine Banks, what you on, gang?
Oh, nothing, just came to tell y'all all my business, I guess.
Well, welcome to DJU TV. It's definitely a blessing to have you. Welcome to Chicago,
Thank you.
I understand you had to catch a flight to be here with us today, so we appreciate your traveling efforts, right?
Yep.
You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us.
Here with y'all.
So Jasamine, I think we first took notice of you, I did myself, a few years back in ATL at a pool party, You went viral with the cucumber.
Yes,
Okay.
indeed.
And ever since then, I've kind of followed you, throughout your social medias. And so it's a pleasure to be able to talk to you live in the flesh.
Pleasure is all mine. Take those off.
So let's just start with, the basics. Miss Banks, can you tell us where you're from?
So I am from Peoria, Illinois.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. 309.
Yes, just around the corner from y'all.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. But tell us what it was like for you growing up in Peoria.
So growing up in Peoria, I started sex work pretty early.
Okay.
Yeah, I got into sex work at around 15, 16.
Wow.
I went to the military at like 17. Peoria is, they say it's kind of like Chicago in a box a little bit. There's violence, gun violence, so, I grew up in a rough part, the south side of Peoria. I didn't really get along with my parents, so I left home at about 13, 14 and just kind of like been on my own since then.
Really?
Yeah. But when I went to the military and when I got out, that's when I started like dancing. So I was a dancer for a while in Peoria. There's like 3 strip clubs, all throughout the whole Peoria, and they cater to white men.
Right.
So that's what I was used to before I moved to Atlanta.
Right.
I catered to white men. I didn't even really want to dance for black guys because I felt like they didn't really want to spend no money or whatever. But when I moved to Atlanta, I was introduced to a completely different realm of the industry. That's when I learned about OnlyFans and started OnlyFans. I was still dancing, just trying to figure out what I was gonna do or whatever. I met a friend of a friend who actually, I think I could be getting this wrong, but I feel like her, I'm not gonna say the name. I just know that she wrote a book called How to Eat a Banana.
Okay.
And, I was doing some, work with her, doing some classes, in-person classes, dick sucking classes. I don't know if I can say that or not. But, doing dick sucking classes for women, parties and things like that. And we actually did them at Young Jocks Club at the time.
Okay.
I think it was called the Venue or whatever.
Okay.
So through her, like she was working at the radio that Young Jock was working with.
Okay.
And, through her, Jock and everyone, that's how I ended up, or that's how Troubles people, somehow found out about me and asked me to do, the cucumber challenge video or whatever. And I knew nothing about social media at this time. Like I said, I had my OnlyFans, but I made like $92 my first month. So yeah, I did this video, and the video, like you said, it went viral. I wasn't expecting it at all. It changed my life. Changed my life, definitely. And I just been kind of like riding that wave since,
For sure.
Yeah.
So I just want to unpack some things that you shared with us, starting with you running away from home at age 13.
Yeah.
So did you have any siblings when
I do have siblings, but my siblings are older than me, and they're all like I have one sibling that my mom had or whatever, but my dad is the one who had all the kids, and we all got different moms. And I think my sibling that's closest to me in age is probably like 7 or 8 years older than me. So like I'm the
so you grew up kind of like by yourself.
Oh yeah, none of my siblings were in the house with me, or my dad.
So can you tell us what made you run away?
I did not.
And where did you go?
Okay, well, so I didn't like being at home. My mom was depressed and dealing with abusive men and things like that or whatever. So being at home just wasn't comfortable for me. The first couple, I've slept outside. You know, I've run away multiple times. I ran away so much when I was in middle school that the school found out about it, and they called a meeting with my parents and basically told my mom that I could move in with the school nurse. Now, I had seen the school nurse, you know, passing by in the hallways and things like that. Her name was Gina. So shout out to Gina. She probably never see this, but like I said, I had seen her before, but I really didn't know her. You know what I'm saying? But that was the option that that the school gave or whatever. So it was either move in with the nurse to finish out the remainder of the school year, or they were going to call DCF. It's called DCFS where we're from, CPS or whatever. So my 8th grade year, I ended up moving with the school nurse, and that was cool for a minute. I was bad. I was, you know, by that time I was sexually active. I was smoking weed. I was doing all kind of stuff that I shouldn't have been doing in 8th grade. So when I moved in with her, of course, that kind of like slowed down a little bit. But living with her, I had a friend who lived down the street, and we were practicing for a talent show. This is where I met my first trick. This is where I met my first trick. I'm at her house, and you know, we're practicing. We're doing dance practice or whatever, and he came there to visit her mom's boyfriend. And he saw me or whatever, asked me if I wanted to ride on his motorcycle, and of course I want to ride on it. So I took a little ride or whatever, got back to the house, and by the time he left, he had offered me $50 to eat my coochie.
And this?
Yes, and this was a grown man.
Right, and how old were you at this time?
I was 13, 14, 8th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, so it didn't happen right then and there, but I did get his information or whatever, and he ended up being a huge trick in my life. Like, he had me driving his car to high school, to my freshman year to high school, you know, gave me money all the time. And I mean, he wasn't like no, you know, I'm 15 years old, you know what I'm saying? So I'm happy with a couple dollars here and there, you know, so yeah.
Wow. So I guess that answers the question I was going to ask you, because when I heard you were sexually active in 8th grade, it made me wonder if you were having sex with boys your age or grown men.
Both. You know, growing up, you know, I don't know what it was, but you know, I don't know if it was you know, an issue with me mentally or what, but I was hypersexual.
Okay.
And you know, I thought by, you know, having sex with these guys, or you know, and before I ever had sex, I sucked a dick.
Okay.
Like, that was my first.
How old were you when you did that?
I was probably 12,
Okay.
13. Like, I was afraid to have sex. So that's what I started out doing, was sucking dick or whatever. Like, I had already created a bad reputation for myself in middle school, which made it like hard to, you know, I didn't want to go to school, you know what I'm saying?
Would they call you a hoe?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I was.
In middle school?
In middle school.
So you was known as like the school bust down?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. And it made it, you know, hard to have relationships with girls. It made it hard to have relationships with everybody, you know, because girls don't like me because I'm nasty and this and that with the bam. And guys, all they want is, you know, what they can get, and when they get it, next day at school, now I'm the talk of the school, and just never. I never had good relationships with kids.
How many kids do you have?
I have 4. Yep.
A mother of 4. A sex worker mother of 4.
Sex worker mother of 4. That child that I was just speaking of, she graduated high school this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I
Tell us the challenges of motherhood.
I feel like I never was able to take the time to, really focus on my kids. You know what I'm saying? The type of focus that you're able to do, because I didn't stay with any of my kids' fathers. So, raising my kids as a single, I don't really like to call myself a single mother, because like I do have help, you know what I'm saying? Their fathers aren't just completely absent, they could do more, but they do what they can, and I appreciate that. But I feel like sex work definitely put us in a better position, but like not being able to really focus on them the way that I would have liked to more, that's definitely one of the challenges of it. But my 18-year-old, she knows about what I do or whatever. She found out when the cucumber video went viral. And we had some issues. We had some things that we had to talk about. And we got past that or whatever. So I really wouldn't say that sex work, besides for, like I said, the time and, whether I did sex work or whether I was putting my focus into another career, I don't feel like it would have made a difference. You know what I'm saying? Like, where I messed up at is having kids early, not being, financially stable already. That's where I messed up at. So I feel like sex work definitely put us in a position that I probably wouldn't have been able to achieve going down, a green path or